we're going to go ahead and dive right into this. So basically what we're seeing today is we've got our new little assignment over here. Okay, if I do a quick double check on what we have turned in or what we haven't turned in, let me see. Let me pull up your guys' class real quick. Make sure that you did complete that writing assignment. Okay, so you do want to do a quick check on the writing assignment. I'll be putting in the little missings. It's going to show up in Hack, so just heads up. That's what's going to happen right as soon as we're off this call. So you do want to go pull that up and make sure that you guys do that writing assignment, okay? An easy way to get to it is you click on grades over here on the left-hand side of your screen, and then you should have your list, okay? It'll be under formative, so check for the formative, summative stuff, that stuff. If you have any missings in there, that is what you're seeing in Hack. The Unit 9 tasks are things that I'm kind of counting to make sure that you're kind of what your participation is and stuff like that in order to kind of help with the whole test situation. All right. So yeah, just make sure you guys do that. All right. We are going to go ahead. Let me pull up the chat real quick. Sorry. No worries. You're good. It's all good. We kind of got started late too. All right. So we're going to open up that Unit 9 folder. Okay, we're going to go down here to this week. We're going to pull up the Wednesday folder. So I just wanted to point out what we have on there. So a couple of the resources that we have this top video. That was the one that I had posted yesterday, and I told you that you were going to be able to watch for a couple extra examples. So it's still going over the same method as yesterday. I also went ahead and posted our sync time from yesterday, and that way you guys have those couple examples to also look at. So if you're just, if you're playing catch up, look at those two videos, right? And it probably will catch you up a little bit quicker than trying to go and do the notes from yesterday and all that stuff. So I would just go with what we have today. It should catch you up and you should be able to move forward, all right? Tomorrow we're going one step further on this calculation. So we got to make sure we got this today. I also gave you that additional practice if you would like to. It's completely optional. You do not have to do it, so please do not feel pressured to do so. And then if you want me to check your answers, just email it to me and I'll let you know how you did, okay? All right. So you can go ahead, and I would like you guys to use your time wisely, so I would open up your little assignment there, okay, and have that ready to go. And we'll go ahead and look at some of these questions together. All right, so we'll have that ready to go. But before we do that, let me just look back to what we were looking at yesterday. So let me kind of scroll over here. Sorry, okay. So yesterday, the big topic was that we are traveling around in this mole town idea, right? So this whole little stoichiometry world. So we were sitting in Mole Town. We could cross. So as soon as we're in moles, we cross the bridge, right? So remember, the whole idea of the map is not for you to be like, why is she giving us this made-up world? It's because it tells you what your next step is, right? So if you're in Grams, you have to travel to Mole Town. You do that by doing a conversion. Once you're in Mole Town, you have to cross that bridge. You have to use your mole ratio. And then tomorrow we're going to see that we have to travel back to Grams by doing another conversion. All right, but for today, you're going one direction or the other, okay? All right, so the other thing that I showed yesterday was, let me keep scrolling over, there we go. Okay, so we're going to have, kind of pull this off to the side. That's from earlier today. So we have this little setup, right? So we're going to be taking our givens, and that always goes into that first box. We are going to continue to bring our words down to the right. We're going to look at that and recognize whether we are in the conversion step, right? Conversion step, or the mole bridge step, which is our mole ratio. We use those coefficients, okay? The other thing that I made a big deal about yesterday was that I kind of told you, hey, if you have this situation where you have moles and grams on the same, so in the same step, right? So in this little area right here, if I have moles and grams, I can't have B and A. It is not possible. You are trying to do 4 things in one step. That is not cool. That is not possible at all. Each one of these steps in our little stoichiometry railroad track or T-chart, whatever, is taking care of the next piece, right? So it's kind of a way to organize it. So if you have this, you're trying to do too many steps at the same time and you need to stop, right? So here what we see, this is correct up here. If I have moles and grams, then I'm talking about the same label, which is the A for this one, right? Here I have the same unit, so mole and mole, so now I can change the label. That is a key idea that I need you guys to hold on to today, okay? All right, let's go ahead and open this assignment. We're going to count this as our notes, all right? So I would, if you're not able to look at both screens at the same time or switch back and forth and feel effective, you are more than welcome to take little snapshots along the way. That's fine with me. As long as you're showing up for the Zoom call, I'm happy. So, so you do have this video that you can still refer to if you would like to. But let's go ahead and go to number 2. So click on number 2. Number 2 is asking for grams of A going to moles of B. So that means that we're starting with our grams of A. So everyone, and like I said, honestly, it's in your best interest to have your assignment open, ready to go, so that you can sit there and complete it while we're doing this, okay? But we're all going to grab the given grams of A and put that into that first box. All right, so from this step, what we are going to take care of is we are going to, not that. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to push that. Where's the little blue dot? There it is. Okay. We're going to grab these units, right? So the words are coming down to the right. So we're going to have grams of A down here. This is our mole conversion. So this is our, maybe don't even focus on the word mole. It is the conversion step, right? The conversion step is where we are using our molar mass measured in grams, and we're putting it together with 1 mole. This is every single time. If you hit this conversion step, that's what you're taking care of, because what we learned in the past, in chapter 8, we took grams of something, we brought words down to the right, and we converted it into moles. This was always a 1, if you remember, right? So this 1 right here is every single time you are dealing with the conversion, all right? So when we're traveling to Mole Town or when we're traveling back to Gramland, that little step right there, that's when we use the 1 mole. The gram value is always going to be the molar mass, which where do we pull those answers from? Where do we pull molar masses from? What tool should I be having out right now? Where do molar masses come from? The periodic table. Great job. Nice work. And there's our periodic table right here. So remember, this little decimal number down here is representing 1 mole of that substance. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and grab our answers. Let's finish this question off. So we're going to have our molar mass down here at the bottom of grams of A. So you could have looked at the units part, right? Grams of A, grams of A. There we go. Okay, if we are converting, then that means that we have to end as mole. I just changed the units, which means my label has to stay the same. So we're going to have moles of A on top. Okay, so we're going to grab moles of A. Look at this, though. We have 2 choices. Okay? So if this is the conversion step, which one of these 2 should I put up there? The 1 mole or the moles? 1 mole or the moles?
1 mole.
The 1 mole. Good. Nice work. We're going to put 1 mole up here. Okay? So we're going to put 1 mole up here because this is the conversion thing, meaning every molar mass on that periodic table is representing 1 mole. Remember that. Okay? This is a guarantee. This is what you learned last chapter. That is what you're using. All right. So now let's keep going. So now we have our, hope that clears it up, by the way. So now we have our moles of A are going to come down to the right. So I have mole A down here. Okay. So the minute that you see mole show up the first time, that right there is your mole ratio. Okay. And I know that we have it labeled for you. We're helping you out. But I need you guys to be able to recognize it without us labeling it too. Okay. Because you're going to see that in the very last question. So if this is going to be my mole of A, this is my mole ratio, this is where we're pulling our coefficients from, right? So that's where we're going to put the moles of A down here, moles of B up here. So this is an okay spot. I will wait for 5 seconds if you'd like to take a screenshot of your Zoom screen. That way you have these answers, or you can adjust your answers so that yours looks like mine. Again, we're treating this like the notes for today, okay? Are there any questions on this? So once again, we're taking our given words down to the right. Okay, since this was a grams, we go into a conversion. That's a 1 mole to molar mass ratio. Then we're pulling words down to the right. We have moles down here for the first time, so we're like bing, bing, bing. That's the bridge, that's the ratio. Coefficients are going to go from here, and we're going to change into the so we're going to go across the arrow, right? We're going to go on the balanced equation, and that's when we can talk about the new thing, okay? Alrighty, so I am going to exit out of that. Let's go to number 3 together. Okay, on number 3, you have this balanced equation up here, and you have the question. I'm going to go ahead and take a snip of that so we can keep it on our screen while we're working through this. There we go. And I'm going to scroll this one down. Okay, so what we have here, okay, we have, here's our balanced equation, right? It says how many moles of H2O are produced from 55.44 grams of O2. So here's the number value. So that's where that's what we're, blah, blah, blah. That's what's given to us, sorry. That's where we're starting. Oops, hold on. My pen went crazy. There we go. All right, so we're starting right here. Moles of H2O, I'm sorry. We're starting in grams of O2. We're traveling to moles of H2O, okay? All right, so when we go to look down here, okay, what goes into this first box? What number value are we going to pull into that box?
Grams of O2.
Yep, 55.44. Perfect. There we go. Oops. Pull that right there. Okay. All right, so 55.44. So just like normal, we're going to take our words and we're going to bring them down to the right, right? Let me clear off my screen. Here we go. So I have grams of O2. That's going to go down to the right. So we have grams O2 down here. This is our conversion step, right? So this is where we're going to use the 1 mole to molar mass thing. So these values down here, we have a 55.44, we have a 31.98. Which one of those are we going to put into this box down here? Be ready to tell me why. So according to our periodic table, right, each oxygen is about 16, right, 15.999. So what that means is that if I have 2 of those, the molar mass is going to be 32-ish, right? So I got it in the direct chat. Good job. Nice work. So we're going to put the 31.98 right here. So this is the part where we have molar mass in grams. And we're going to be linking it up with, because we have to convert into moles, right? If I changed this, what does that mean I'm talking about right here? What's going to be going up here? Moles of H2O or moles of O2? Careful with that. Moles of H2O or O2? O2, perfect, yep. We changed our unit, which means our label has to stay the same. So we're talking about moles of O2. This is where we do 1 mole, okay? So we're going to grab the 1 mole O2. We're going to put that into the top box right here, okay? All right, now we're going to pull words down to the right again, okay? So we have moles of O2 down to the right. Okay, since we have this here, we saw moles, so we had grams. Now moles for the first time. Bam. That is your mole bridge. That is your mole ratio, right? Labeled right here. This is where your coefficients are going to come into play. So we're going to look at our balanced equation here. Okay, balanced equation. We have a 2, a 1, and a 2. So the 1 is going to go down here on the bottom because we're talking about O2. So we're going to take 1 mole O2, put it back on the bottom. Up top, we're going across the bridge. Remember, on the bridge or on the ratio, we are changing our character. So we're going moles of the other guy. So this question is asking about H2O. So we're going to grab the coefficient for H2O, which is going to be a 2. Okay? So 2 mole H2O goes on top. All right, when we go to plug this into our calculator, just to keep up with our notes here, we're going to multiply across the top and divide by the bottom. So we have, let me scroll this down just a little bit. I guess I can do that too. There we go. All right. So we have 55.44 right here. I'm going to multiply, not divide, multiply by 1. Then I'm going to multiply by 2. I'm going to push enter. I have 110.88. Now I'm going to go into the dividing. So I'm going to divide by the bottom, divide by 31.98. I'm going to push divide again. 1 equals, we have 3.467 as our answer. Okay. So one more time, just as a recap, because this is, like I said, this is your notes. You're going to be left with the next one on your own. So here what we have is we start with what we're given in the problem. Words came down to the right? Words matched up. This was a molar mass to 1 mole conversion every single time, no matter what. Okay? Then we brought words down to the right again. Sorry, really far down to the right. Okay, so then we had moles. This was our mole bridge or mole ratio, and this is where coefficients were. So if you needed to take a screenshot, you're more than welcome to take a screenshot of this as well. I have an appointment that I have to leave for, so I'm going to be kind of rushing us through the next question, and then the rest you'll be able to handle on your own. But hopefully you've knocked out 2 of the questions with me, okay? All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next part. So number 4, make sure you come back and do that. You're going to be completing it the same way, so refer to number 3 if you need it. Okay, number 5 is just the video. Number 6 is going to be the other setup. So we have moles of A to grams of B. Okay, so this means we're traveling from moles over to grams. So I want to point out a couple things on this. Okay, so we're going to start with given amount moles of A. Okay, we would take the words and bring those down to the right. So we have moles of A down here. Okay, if you notice, this is the first time that we're seeing moles of A. So therefore, that is your ratio. Right? Mole ratio. This is where coefficients are going to go. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and grab not the 1 mole of anything. We're going to grab moles of A and put that right here. Right? Because the other way to think about this is if you're looking at the map, we're in Mole Town, so we cross the bridge automatically. You have to. Okay? That's your only choice. If you're in Grahamland, you have to travel there and then cross the bridge. That's why we have it in 2 different steps. Okay, and tomorrow I'm going to show you the longer calculation and show you that you're just really taking the same setup every single time. It seems like you have different setups. It is all actually exactly the same. We're just focusing in on a little part to a big part. Okay, all right, so here let's cross the bridge real quick. So we have moles of A. We're going to change to moles of B. We take those words. We're going to bring those down to the right. Right? And then we have our conversion. So even though we see moles again, this is the second time. So this is not the mole bridge step. Now it's the conversion step where we have 1 mole of something and put it with its molar mass in grams. And that's what we see with these answers. So you should be putting 1 mole down here, molar mass up here, and that should be your answer for this. If you need to take one more screenshot, you're going to need this for the next 2. Okay? You will need this for the next 2 questions. So be careful. Make sure you refer to this question. You have the answers in there, so make sure you come back to it. Okay? All right. So number 7 and 8, we're just going to be, basically you're just going to be pulling everything from up here again. So you're going to start with that 6.25 moles. This is the mole ratio, so don't forget this will be coefficients. This next one will be the 1 mole to molar mass. Just to help you out, molar mass 74.551. It goes on the top right. Okay, the rest you guys can fill in. You're going to need that molar mass again on question 8. So on question 8, you're going to need that molar mass again because once again we're dealing with grams of KCl. So again, that's going to be that 74.551. Okay? Okay, and then finally, number 9 is a multiple choice question. I think you guys got that one. And then number 10, you're going to be filling in with numbers. Okay? Please note that I want your answer to 2 decimal places. So if you want it to self-grade correctly, do it to 2 decimal places because I don't think I put in an alternate answer with 1. Okay? And then your mole ratio, make sure you go in order of what these are listed. Okay? All right, so good luck. You guys got this. Finish the assignment, get it turned in. That way you get this grade, and then go back and check to make sure that you did complete the writing assignment for today. Okay?